Welcome in, everybody, to a special edition of Scout's Eye on Pro Football on the Landry Football Podcast Network. A special trade deadline special as we kind of get you up to date on all the deals that have been made. We'll go through them. We'll tell you kind of what they mean for each team, and we'll go from there. A reminder, you can get more detailed film room breakdowns and analysis and inside information on all of these moves, as well as all the NFL action, all the college action over at LandryFootball.com. So make sure that you check out LandryFootball.com today. Take advantage of the football season sale. That is the best deal we got going, and it gets you inside the game of the college football, NFL, inside coaching searches, personnel moves, strategy, game breakdowns. We got it all for you. Take advantage of the football season sale today. It's like having your own coaching and scouting department for less than a magazine subscription. So do that today. Also, subscribe, like, and share the Landry Football Podcast Network. That is going to allow you to make sure that you get all of our football information. And if you will, check out the Landry Football YouTube channel. Subscribe to that as well, if you would. Well, we're going to go in the most recent order. The Bills acquired safety Dean Marlowe for the Falcons for a 7th-round pick in 2023. He's played 700 defensive snaps for the Lions in 2021, but has been more of a special teams guy. But with Buffalo dealing with Jordan Poyer being hurt again, as well as Micah Hyde being out for the season, he's going to have a shot to at least play in the reserve role and give him a good special teams player. So for a 7th-round pick in 2023, makes some sense there. The Falcons acquired corner Rashad Fenton from the Chiefs for a conditional 7th-round pick. Now, Fenton had played about 74% of the snaps every game from week 1 to week 5, had 500-plus defensive snaps in each of the last 2 seasons for Kansas City, but he was replaced by youth at cornerback. The Falcons badly need depth at the position with Casey Hayward and A.J. Terrell dealing with injuries. They're certainly not out of the division race, but this is a decent move for them. He's a rental. He's in the final season of his rookie deal, but they do like some of the things about him. So the plan in Atlanta is they're not trading for him so that they can make some kind of run this year. They're signing him because they like him as a player, and they think that maybe he might be a keeper for getting him to a contract in next year to add depth on the team. The Colts acquired Zach Moss and a conditional 2023 6th-round pick for the Bills for Nyheim Hines. So the Bills get their running back, Nyheim Hines. Moss's role with the Bills had all but evaporated since the team drafted him with the 86th overall pick in 2020. Moss has rushed for 917 yards and 31 career games, but just 17 carries for 91 yards in 5 games this year. The Bills, including Moss in the deal to acquire Hines from the Colts, was an easy decision and could give Moss a chance to see additional playing time. Running back Deion Jackson likely gets elevated to the second running back role in Indy, but it's a move that was expected from the Bills' standpoint. Acquiring him, the Bills drafted James Cook with the 2nd-round pick early this season in the offseason in the hopes that he'd fill the pass-catching role they've longed for. Considered to be one of the best pass-catching backs in the draft, Cook will all likelihood take a backseat to Hines, who has made a career for himself as a satellite back. He has caught 25 passes for 188 yards, 28 targets this year. Josh Allen is far from the check-down king that Hines is growing to accustomed to playing with. So there's some upside if Devin Singletary would have missed any time. Gives him some stability at running back. In essence, he is a cheaper version of a Christian McCaffrey. Less expensive, not very costly. So the Bills, who are all in, still get some help without giving up a whole lot. The Broncos acquired Jake Martin and a 2024 5th-round pick from the Jets for a 2024 4th-round pick. The Jets signed Martin to a 3-year deal early this offseason, but the veteran edge rusher has been buried on the depth chart for most of the season. Through 8 games, it's just 3 sacks, a few pressures, 3 tackles, I should say, 1.5 sacks. He's got 15 career sacks since entering the league in 2018. He becomes a replacement for Bradley Chubb, who the Broncos shipped to Miami to the trade deadline. More on that in a second. The Broncos also giving up a 4th-round pick in 2024 in exchange of a 5th-round pick in 2024. The Jags acquired Calvin Ridley from the Falcons for 2 future conditional draft picks. The structure of the trade is convoluted based on when Ridley is able to play. He's either going to fetch a 5th or a 6th-round pick in 2023, depending on when he's reinstated in the league. Jacksonville will also send a 2024 2nd, 3rd, or 4th-round pick to Atlanta, depending on if he makes the team, reaches a playtime threshold, or is signed a long-term extension. So there's not a lot of risk involved here for Jacksonville. If he turns out to be somebody that they want to do business with and keep around, it'll cost them a little bit more. They can make that decision down the road. Ridley is suspended for the season, so not going to suit up for the Jags this year. But it's a big investment for the Jags, who've not managed to come up with much of a threat outside of Christian Kirk around Trevor Lawrence. So it's a move that's not risky. A talented guy that they don't have to bite on just yet. They can wait and see how things play out and then decide where they want to go with it. The Dolphins acquired Jeff Wilson for the 49ers for a 2023 5th-round draft pick. Of course, the trade for Christian McCaffrey made Jeff Wilson expendable. He fell into the lead role for the 49ers after Elijah Mitchell went down in week 1 against the Bears. He's run the football very well, been very effective for them. He took a backseat to Christian McCaffrey, though, and that's where things kind of moved on, and they're looking to get some picks back after trading some for Christian McCaffrey. He heads to Miami. He reunites with Mike McDaniel. Remember, Mike coached him in San Francisco. Also reuniting with Raheem Mostert after 3 years spent the last several seasons together in San Francisco with Myles Gaskins and Salvon Ahmed, the only 2 running backs on the roster. Wilson has a chance to be an immediate backup to Mostert. So a good move for them. The Broncos acquired Chase Edmonds from the Dolphins as part of the Bradley Huff trade. Latavius Murray and Melvin Gordon will get a new challenger in the backfield from Edmonds. His 0 10-carry game since week 1 and just 41 rushing yards. We'll see if he can lead the running back by committee and get enough playing times and acquire that. Now, the Dolphins acquiring Bradley Chubb and a 2025 5th-round pick for the Broncos in exchange for Chase Edmonds, a 2024 4th-round pick, and the San Francisco 2023 1st-round pick. So a lot there to unpack. But the Dolphins are all in, needing another pass rusher, wanting another pass rusher. They're going for it. Since the Tyreek Hill trade, Chubb gives them a devastating option off the edge on the defense. He's heading into the final year of his rookie contract. He'll sign a long-term extension with the Dolphins. They like him long-term, so it's a short-term and a long-term move. They have roughly $18 million free in cap space for 2023, so they'll have to do some restructurings, but in the short term, it's a huge addition for a team that's trying to make a playoff run. The Steelers acquired cornerback William Jackson from the Commanders. Of course, the Steelers secondary is really struggling right now. A little bit of a surprise that the Commanders gave up all leverage when they announced they'd likely release him. But this is kind of where it's going there. Why would Pittsburgh trade for him, you ask, if he's going to likely be released? Well, you're competing. You got to go through waivers, and you might lose the guy. If you want the guy, you give something for him. It's going to be a swapping of late-round picks. That's all it's going to be. But it assures that you get the guy. Whereas if he goes through waivers, the likelihood is that you won't get it. The Bears acquired Chase Claypool from the Steelers for a 2023 2nd-round pick. It's Chicago's own 2nd-rounder, not the Baltimore via the Roquan Smith trade. So Claypool will immediately slide in as the Bears' number 2 receiver. Obviously, the Bears are in a different situation. They're not making this move as somebody that can help them and make some sort of run this year. They need a weapon for their offense, and they like the size. They like what he can be going forward for them to give them a big target. He may, overtake Darnell Mooney. They give up a 2nd-rounder for a 3rd-year guy without a 1,000-yard season, but and just a year and a half left on his rookie deal. But they like him. They think he's going to be a good fit. to give a big target for their young quarterback. We'll see. They've got holes to fill at that spot. They were using guys like Equanimeous St. Brown and N'Keal Harry. They've got to really move forward with trying to build around Justin Fields to try to make things a little bit more amicable as they try to develop. I think it's an important rest of the season for the Bears. Not that they're going to make a run for the playoffs or anything, but to make a run towards getting better, putting some pieces in place to go into the offseason for the rest of the season. Folks, we've got more details for you at LandryFootball.com on all of these moves, but I wanted to jump on and get you up to date with what happened on the trade deadline day in the NFL. Any late moves, again, the deadline's passed. It doesn't mean that deals weren't put in before the deadline. If anything else comes out of it, as well as some deals that we unearthed that weren't made, but that were close to getting made, we'll share that with you here on the Landry Football Podcast Network. So subscribe, like, and share the Landry Football Podcast Network. Also, we've got even further details over at LandryFootball.com, so make sure that you check that out there. If it's college football, it's the NFL. If it's coaching searches, it's personnel moves, it's trade talks, it's signings, it's game previews from the film room, game recaps from the film room. We got it all for you at LandryFootball.com. So take advantage of the football season sale today. Hey, we'll break down the Week 9 action in the NFL that's coming up, starting with a Eagles-Texans matchup on Thursday night. A lot to get to today. Keep it over at LandryFootball.com, and we'll break it all down for you over at LandryFootball.com and on the Landry Football Podcast Network. So long, everybody.